And just like you should not use the past to determine the present, you should not use the present to determine the future. You should use the future to determine the present. But before I go on explaining this, please don't forget to hit that like, follow, and subscribe button if you enjoy this content and you want to see more. But back to what I was saying about you should not use the present to determine the future, but you should use the future to determine the present. Why is that, Donnie? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because if you try to use the present, your present moment, where you currently are in life right now, to try and construct a future, then you're always going to base your future off your current resources, the current resources you have at the moment. And if you base building your future off your current resources right now, your life is probably going to maybe 1 or 2x. So that means how your life looks right now is probably going to look about the same in 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years from now. Because you're using your present resources. You're using what you presently have at hand. You're using the knowledge that you presently got to judge or to try to shape or build something far greater beyond your means in the present. It's hard for your mind to conceptualize that because you're focused on the stuff you have right now. And when you trying to build a future, focus on your current present resources, then you're not going to build a future that looks much different than your current reality right now. So what I'm saying is, you're never going to 10x your life unless you start using your future to determine your right now, your present. Unless you start, let me say it again, unless you start using your future to determine your present, then you're never going to 10x your life. You got to start learning how to use the future to construct the present. That's how you 10x. I don't know who wrote this quote, but it was this powerful quote I read the other day. And I think it says, he who has no future has no life. He exists, but he does not live. Yeah, that's exactly what it said. That's exactly what it said. It said, he who has no future has no life. He exists, but he don't live. See, when you don't start trying to create your life from a future perspective, then you can't even begin to enjoy the present or the past because you're too busy trying to shape your life in the future from a lack of resources that you have right now. That's why you always build from the future, not from the present. See, when you allow the future to begin to shape your present or to determine your present, you immediately begin to become a different person. Let's say your future goal was to become an entrepreneur that makes 7 figures or $1 million a year. But you presently only make about $60,000 a year. And let's say your goal was to make 7 figures a year and you wanted to do it in 8 years. So in 8 years, you plan to 10x your income. So your future self in 8 years will be making $1 million, at least $1 million a year. So your future self in 8 years, you're setting a goal to set up your future self to be making at least $1 million a year. So now the person you are right now has to grow to become that person who can make 7 figures a year or who can make $1 million a year. And when you start out growing incrementally. You start out growing a little bit at a time. Why? Because you got 8 years. You got 8 years to try to do it. And so what the natural human behavior is for the first 3 to 4 years, we anything that's hard, anything that causes resistance, we put off, we procrastinate because that's who we are, because we don't like easy. And I'm telling you, if anything is easy on the front end, it's always usually going to be hard on the back end. That's why most people who get rich, most of us rich people, go through the hard in the very beginning because it becomes easier and easier on the back end. But we work at it when it's hard on the front end because we understand that all work works. We know that if you work on it, it's either going to work for you, or work on you. So if it's not working on you, then it's going to work for you until if it's not working for you, then it's going to work on you until it works for you. That's all I'm saying. So don't despise the hard work in the beginning, because the hard work is designed to stretch you, to grow you, to make you stronger, to make you better, to develop you into something you're not. See, but when we put becoming a millionaire and to making 7 figures in 8 years, we already set ourselves up for failure because we set up ourselves to make up all these excuses for the first 3 to 4, and then we try to work on the 5 to 7, and we never get there because we lose sight of the person who we wanted to create. But what if, instead of setting the goal for 8 years to become an entrepreneur who makes 7 figures a year, what if you make it 2 years? What if you give yourself 2 years to become or grow to that person you want to be in the future? A lot of things, what I'm saying is, a lot of things will change fast in your presence. A lot of things will change fast in your right now. All the stuff that you're doing right now, you probably could not do. You can no longer watch TV. You can no longer waste your time scrolling down social media. You can no longer waste your time that was not relative to the goal, to help you complete the goal. You would cut off so much stuff. You would do so many things different in order to become that person if you actually commit. Because I'm telling you is, if I did it, I know you can do it. That's all I'm saying. If I did it, I know you can do it. But the only difference is I committed. But once you commit to try to become your future self, it begins to shape your present self. Let me say it again. Once you commit to becoming your future self, it begins to shape your present self, the person you are right now. So again, if I wanted to be the person that made 7 figures in 2 years as an entrepreneur, I got to start reading a lot more books. I got to start doing a lot more things that would help me acquire enough knowledge in order to get myself there. I have to learn a lot of new, I'm going to have to learn a few new skills. Not a lot. I have to learn a few new skills. I know I have to learn something different than what I currently know. Because the information that I currently know only gets me to $60,000 a year. This far, the information that I got, the person I am right now has caused me to get myself to $60,000 a year. But in order to get that 7 figures a year, in order to grow myself, I have to become a different person. I have to become that person fast because I committed myself to become my future self in 2 years. Therefore, it affects my present in a major way. And when you begin to use your future like that, you will become who you set out to be. You'll know what the future will look like because you're able to predict it. And I'm telling you, once you begin to use the future and the past as tools, they will help you to grow beyond your wildest imagination. When you begin to use the past as an asset, as development, as like a training camp, that to develop you to become that person you are right now. And when you start using the future to help optimize your life right now in the present so that you can achieve what you were set out to do, then you will begin pulling, literally pulling the future into your existence right now. Each day you are because when you think about your future self, it calls you to strategize about how to get there. And when you start strategizing about how to get there, each day you focus and you make plans to get you to where you want to be. You have to start using the future to shape the present because that's what turns your dreams into reality. Commit to becoming your future self right now, and you will begin to literally affect your present self. As a matter of fact, we all live from the future. We're just unaware of it. And I say we're unaware of it because right now in your life, the presence would have no meaning if you could not think about the future. Everything you do right now in the present is because you have meaning from the future. What are you going to school for? Why are you working your job? Why are you trying to be a musical artist? Why are you trying to be an actor? Why are you trying to be an entrepreneur? Why are you trying to start a different career? Right? All these things drive or give purpose to your present meaning. So everything you do, if you don't think about the future from an intentional standpoint, then your presence is always going to be determined by chaos or shaped by somebody else. Because you're always thinking from the future. We're just unaware of it. Again, the future is what gives our present meaning. If we have not the ability to think into the future, as a matter of fact, people who cannot see the future, they die very fast. That's actually scientifically proven. When you can no longer see the future, when you can no longer visualize a future moment, your body begin to die and wither away. Literally. So what I'm saying is that we're always thinking from the future. We're just unaware that we are. And when we're not aware that we're always thinking from the future, which creates our present moment, then we can always be controlled by somebody thinking about our future for us. And then we're nothing but an NPC or a robot following somebody else's orders. So what I'm saying is become intentional about your about your future, because your future is what shapes your present, not your past. Let me say it again. Your future is what shaped your present, not your past. So however you see your future self, however you see your future self, that's who's shaping your life right now. That's the person that's shaping your life right now. Your future self is shaping your life right now, whether you know it or not. So I hope you're thinking about yourself in a good light right now, because in the future, I hope you're thinking about yourself in a positive light in the future. I hope you see yourself as something amazingly great in the future. I hope you see yourself as something extraordinary. I hope you see yourself as somebody making a dent in the society. I hope you see yourself as this, because that's the person who is shaping your life right now. You can create a better presence right now by going after the future that you want right now. Not by looking at where you currently are and seeing what you currently have in your life and saying that once I get this and once I get that done and once I get this, then I'll be able to do this. No, no, you can literally make your presence better right now by actually trying to create your future right now. But Donnie, how am I going to do it? See, this is where we always get stopped at. We always get stopped in thinking about how. Don't think about the how. Just start at where you are right now. See, we don't want to start because we don't want to sit and take the time to actually think. To think. We literally need to sit and take the time to think. The only reason you keep telling yourself you can't do it is because you haven't really sat down to think about other ways to actually try to make it happen for yourself. Have you ever heard the saying that there are more than 9 ways to skin a cat? There are multiple roads that can get you to where you want to be. You just haven't taken the time or sat down to think about it. I don't know what you're trying to create. Only you know right now what you want to create, what you want to build, what you want to do, who you want your future self to be. I don't know, but I do know you can get yourself there. It doesn't matter if you don't have the resources. It doesn't matter what you think you can't do. It doesn't, none of that matters. The how does not matter. You just got to start with where you are, but start. And all the pieces to the puzzle will come. But the pieces to the puzzle could never come if you never start trying to be your future self right now. Not when things get good, not when you got enough money, not when you got enough people, not when you got enough, not when you got enough anything. Stop making excuses. Just start. Start where you are. If anybody, if Jeff Bezos, if Tim Cook, if any, I mean, not Tim Cook, but Steve Jobs, if anybody would have thought about their current resources and where they currently are, we would not know an Amazon, an Apple, a Starbucks. You wouldn't know any of this. But you know it because they pulled their future self into their present self. And the only way you can do that is by starting right now. All you got to do is, there's so many roads to get, if you want to be an artist, there's so many roads to get there. But you got to sit down. You got to strategize. You got to think. It's like people blow my mind. They think they can just start something and not just start something, but think they can just jump somewhere in something without actually thinking about it, strategizing. What's your next move? Actually becoming the person. Literally becoming the person. People who are good at things, they practice so they can get it right. But people who are great at things, they practice so they can't get it wrong. So what I'm saying is, if you constantly honing your craft, constantly focus on bringing your future self to the present by actually becoming your future self right now. You don't have to wait to become your future self. Become it right now. You can bring the future into the present no matter where you currently are in life. All you have to do is focus on becoming the future you right now. As a matter of fact, if you want to learn how to change the person you currently are to the person you want to be, go watch my video, You Become Who You Already Are. My video is called You Become Who You Already Are. At the end of the day, you must allow your future self to control your present self or to determine who your present self is. And your present self determines the past, the meaning of what you've been through, so that it's used as an asset, not a liability. So again, let me say it. We must use the future to determine the present and the present to determine the past, and not the other way around. Because the other way around does not benefit us. It harms us. But we must always allow our future self to control our present and our past. That way, we're always creating and becoming something greater. And if you have watched this video to the end, I want you to put in the comment section what your future self look like. Who are you in the future? I want to know that. I want to know who you are in the future. So in the comment section, post who you are in the future. And the goal, as always, is to keep learning so that you can become a better strategic playing player in this game called life. I'm out.